I don't know where you put Sean Payton in that. Is he an old school? Is he a Bill Belichick, Bill Parsley? Certainly has taken some of what he's, I'm sure, done as a coach from Bill Parcells and from that experience. But is there a difference in style, approach, old school, new school with Mike Vrabel and Sean Payton?
I would say Sean Payton is obviously cut from the Parcells cloth. He's done a good job because he's been successful in this new school of coaching, where Vrabel, I think, has a little bit of Belichick, he has a little bit of Parcells. I was fortunate to play for both of those guys. And he has a little bit of that old school but new school because he talks to the players. You know, how he wants to know what they're going on, what their day's like. You know, what could we do things differently? I mean, the big thing during the training camp was like how he was taking care of these players physically, right? That's a new school.
Yeah, it's kind of like Diet Bill. Like it's similar, but less harsh. Like I just feel like
you remember there was outrage amongst the diehards because he didn't have him out practicing enough in training camp.
I believe Greg Bedard, who's never been right in his life, said that Gerard Mayo ran a better camp.
Yes. yes.
Great one.
And I don't think I don't know if Sean Payton's doing the same thing, or is he still of the Bill Parcells, we're going to go out there and we're going to, practice hard, but, we're not going to take as much time out of pads and that kind of thing. So, but listen, I'm not going to knock Sean Payton. He's done a good job with the Denver Broncos. I think Vrabel, the authenticity of who he is and the way he coaches, I think part of it is the former player aspect where, maybe he might have been the guy who was saying, I remember the Super Bowl week down in New Orleans and we're banging and wearing full pads and we're still like out there going crazy. He might be the guy that's like, we don't need to do that.
From a player perspective, he understands that. He went through it with Bill.
Right.
And he understands how the players feel about that. So.
And he has the privilege of having sons that are around the age of the guys that he's coaching.
Right. Yeah.
So when you're around 21, 23-year-old boys, what the guys are doing, and you can relate in a way that people whose lives are not in the same position can.
And the relationship is real because the one thing he said is he talks about being authentic, but he also talks about giving them the truth, whether it hurts or whether it's good or bad. That is the one thing that I'll say that I would always say about Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick. I have had a lot of coaches in my football career, but especially in the NFL. The one thing I will say about Parcells and Belichick, they give it to you like it is. And as a player, you respect that more than a coach blowing smoke up your ass. And I think Vrabel comes from that same type he's cut from that same type of cloth where I want to get to know, but I'm not going to blow smoke up these guys' asses.
Is that what they're feeling, though, about his comments about Stidham? Like the veterans on that Broncos team, they're like, we know you're not being honest. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you pumping the tires right now?
Right, and I get what you made a good point, or maybe it was you, Greg, who made the point of, like, I get he's trying to take on more of, like, all right, the to kind of keep it off of Stidham.
Yeah, he's putting it on himself, basically, to keep it off of Jared Stidham.
Right, but he's got to still be saying, hey, listen, it's going to be extremely difficult because we did lose our starting quarterback. We have all the confidence in the world in Jared Stidham, but here's what we need to do as a defense. Yeah. Here's what we need to do as an offense because we are asking somebody who hasn't played, who hasn't been in this situation to do something.
Yeah.
And be honest rather than blowing smoke up guys' butts like, oh, yeah, you should see him on scout team.
Listen, you've been saying it all morning. You don't believe that Jared Stidham is going to be a positive factor in this football game for that Broncos team at all. So if the Patriots lose this game, it's not from your perspective because Jared Stidham is very effective and beats them. We talked earlier about when you think about things that might end up leading to a loss here. We talked about the noise out there. Mm-hmm. You have dealt with that. I mean, what's the issue when it comes to count and what what you're doing when you're on that line as an offensive player playing out there.
Yeah, it's just not jumping off sides, right? And not going from 1st and 10 to 1st and 15 or 2nd and 2 to 2nd and 7 because you allowed the snap count or the crowd noise to get to you, right? That's the biggest thing, the communication aspect. You miss something because you can't hear the communication and what's going on here, and maybe we got to burn a timeout, or maybe I can't hear it and I don't get the whole play call. And I end up running something else, and you run something indifferently.
He did say, Mike Vrabel did say yesterday, the day before, that they have used throughout the season. They've used the silent count, whether they needed it or not.
Right.
Wiggy hated the silent count,
which is great coaching. It's impressive that they have worked on that.
And then the communication between, the offensive lineman. If I'm a tight end and I'm communicating with the tackle, I got to make sure I do a good job of communicating maybe before we break the huddle, pre-snap, so if it gets too loud. The thing I would say this, Greg, if they lose, we'll be sitting here or wherever we'll be sitting on Monday talking about how bad Drake May played, or what the hell was that defense doing? How do you let Jarrett Stidham throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns?
Yeah.
We'll be talking about something that we haven't seen all season long. That's why my confidence level is so high.
Doesn't it make you guys nervous that he's so overconfident?
No, because he was like it for the Chargers, he was like it for the Texans, and we were the way that we are right now for both of those games as well. Like Wiggy gives it straight, and I think that you and I don't want to be a jinx.
Yeah.
Wiggy doesn't care.
Yeah, I would say that also one part of this preparation and all the coaching talk is Josh McDaniels, and we haven't talked about him a ton. He is the most hated man on that team that's landing in Denver. They hate Josh McDaniels. He burned that place to the ground, got fired, and it was an absolute catastrophic coaching period of his life. Like, in Denver, I got my cousin lives out there. Like, they view Josh McDaniels as, like, the same way we viewed, like, Rick Pitino. Like, it's just, because they view him as a guy that showed up, ruined everything, fired everybody, and then left this, like, pile of waste.
Poor Josh McDaniels getting lumped in with Rick Pitino.
They're not dealing with snow Sunday. Like, they're the only state that's not, right?
That's correct.
Basically. So
that's
Denver.
Denver.
That's not an issue. It will be cold or whatever, but it is.
Fun fact about Colorado, sunny 300 days a year.
Yes,
wow.
I think you said that the other day on the show.
Yeah, you told us that.
Yeah.
That was
it's better the second time.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't hear it.
You felt it was worth repeating.
Well, I mean, 1 to 2 inches of snow coming Sunday.
Yes.
But don't you feel that way, though, Greg? I mean, cut you up, but don't you feel if they lose, it's going to be something that is so, and I said this.
I just don't believe, I think Sean Payton on the offensive side of the football is a good enough coach to make Jared Stidham reasonably effective in that offense. So I don't think it's going to be as glaring as you think it is, the difference between those two.
Between
the Patriots offense and the Broncos offense. Like I don't. But Nick Costos, he wants you to bet the over. He thinks they're gonna put up. Broncos are going to put up 21 points. Unless he thinks the Patriots are going to score 42.
But I mean, if you watch the Broncos and he does, Nick brings up a good point, but Shimes also brought this up. If you watch them towards kind of the end of the season, how they were heading into the postseason, you start to look at some of the struggles offensively. And if you look at the game against the Buffalo Bills, Bo Nix made some plays with his legs. Like, you're not getting that. Like, that's we talk about Drake May. And think about the games that the Patriots have been able to win, and the 27 or 37-yard run that Drake May had that opened up the door.
You're not going to get that, but Sean Payton knows that and has known that for a week.
But the problem is
a week to scheme around it.
Right, but you can't scheme. You can't scheme around it, and you can't scheme it up. It's just an ability that Bo Nix has, that Drake May has, that Jared Stidham doesn't have.
And that's why I feel like if we lose on Monday, we'll be sitting down talking about not the fact that the defense wasn't able to get after Jarrett Stidham. We're going to be sitting there saying that Drake May had a terrible game.
Right.
And that the Broncos defense was able to get to him. So the O-line had a terrible game as well. Like that will be the key, I think, for this one.
I disagree.
Coco's keys.
I like
Coco's
Coco's
keys.
That's
Win the
what
turnover battle.
Yes, always.
I like that key, though.
Yeah.
But I think if they lose, the story is the defense. I think if the defense, if they allow 20-plus points to Jarrett Stidham, it will be that this great defense was fool's gold. Like, you didn't win this game. I think, nationally.
So what's reasonable for you when it comes to the Patriots defense points allowed?
I mean, I think 17.
Okay.
Reasonable. Up 17 or less, you'll win
the game if you only allow.
Yeah, they were averaging 9. So I mean, the Chargers only scored 3, and the Texans scored 12.
Yep.
So 17, I would say that, that's probably where I would think it would be. I mean, I might even go a little bit less, but I would say, all right, 17 is reasonable.
Yeah, and we have some news coming out, which is, I just saw Jones tweet it. So Diana Rossini tweeted the Bills met with candidates at Orchard Park in Buffalo. And guess who's a big part of the hiring process?
Josh Allen.
Yep. And so at some point, he's going to have to answer questions because he's sort of hid behind the coach and the GM, and they had the dumpster fire of a press conference. But Josh Allen is a big part of that. And I'd be fascinated. Do you think Bill Belichick gets an interview?
No.
Nope.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't.
This is Tim from Hanover. Tim, good morning.
Yeah, Greg, I agree 100% on what you just said about Stidham and Sean Payton. Let me tell you, this is the biggest stage Stidham has ever had a chance for. He's the third best, highest paid backup in the NFL.
Yeah.
So obviously, with Payton in there, if he does great, he opens up the opportunity for next year to go to somewhere else and make more money instead of just relying on his wealth that he gets. We're not playing. So I get it.
Yeah.
I hope the Pats win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we thanks for the call. We talked about this earlier, and I guess that the $6 million a year that Sean Payton was willing to invest in that quarterback is less about him and more about he didn't know what Bo Nix was going to be. Don't you think?
Yep.
I mean, but you don't have to. You can find a backup for less money if you don't think. I mean, I would say the quality of the player is what led to the $6 million payment. If he's not worth $6 million, then you can get anybody else to back him up. Sean Payton believes he can play the position. If he didn't, he wouldn't give him that deal.
I think Sean Payton thinks he's a good player. I wouldn't disagree with you on that. I think Sean Payton looks and goes, all right, we think Stidham's a good player. We evaluate him. Whatever we've seen, we think he's worth X amount of dollars. And, I get that part of it. But I think they look at it as like, okay, if Bo Nix can't play a couple games during the regular season, we got a quality backup.
Yeah.
They don't look at it and go, well, if we lose Bo Nix for the AFC Championship game, we have all the confidence in the world in this kid. I just, because I don't think there's any backup quarterback that has that. Coach would say the same thing.
If you wanted to go cheap, Tommy Cutlets was available.
Oh, that's true.
I
don't know why Ken hasn't brought up Joe Milton, the best quarterback in the world.
Tommy Cutlets, is he active?
No,
on Sundays?
No, his agent is.
Yeah.
Sean will definitely be there.
Oh, he was on the sideline when we went down to the sideline before that game Sunday. He was there, like with these gold boots on.
Oh, he always has the craziest shoes. They were probably Louboutins. That's all he wears.
Is he doing that well? Or he's got one client.
Right.
He's got a bunch of guys.
He does.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of
What's 3% of nothing?
Low-level guys,
he used to have
undrafted guys.
Patrick Chung and a few guys back in the day.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got Tommy Cutlets, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're paying him probably good money, Progressive, to do that commercial that Tommy Cutlets is in. So if you're getting 10% of whatever, you get
But
for
the
that.
fees for the players, if with $100 million in contracts, you're only getting $3 million.
3%.
Right.
That's for the contracts, but then there might be the endorsement deals where they probably get 10%.
Yeah.
Right, but that's still. I wouldn't think. I don't think
I'd
I'd
take
be wearing
$3 million.
But that's like over the course of his career, not one season.
Yeah, but break that down. It's pretty good per year.
The cost of doing business with Drake May is going up and up and up.
Oh my God!
If you were on that early from the endorser side of things, then you got yourself a deal.
Yeah, but it's his number's still going to change even if you are on that early. No hometown discounts.
If he wins the Super Bowl this year, he will be the highest paid player in the NFL in one season.
Yeah,
Without a doubt.
Yeah,
you're the MVP.
Yeah,
you're 23 years old. You win a Super Bowl. Entering year 3.
Yeah.
You're playing for maybe 80, 90 million a year.
You think they'll give him
especially
the 10-year Patrick Mahomes kind of contract?
I don't think so, but I think it's like with the what was the Josh Allen contract? I think it's similar, maybe more than that.
Right. I think AAV as opposed to 10 years of $1 billion.
This is Art from Walpole. Art, what's going on?
Good morning, everybody. I agree with Nick Costas that the key to the whole game is Drake May. Even if the defense gives up some points, which I think they may, I think Drake May is the guy, and he's not going to have 3 Mets games in a row. I think he's going to be super focused, and I think the Patriots are going to cruise in this thing on Sunday.
All right.
I really do. And my next-door neighbor has to be one of the starting people in the Patriots. We had a discussion last night, and he said May is all set to go on this one. I would say sit back and enjoy it, folks. It's going to be a good one.
Sit back and enjoy, and then you're
which
booking.
one?
Sick brag.
Which
You're
starter?
booking your flight to Santa Clara halftime, or when are we doing that? When are we going to do that? Will that be the third quarter? When are we confident in booking flights to the Super Bowl?
Should just do it now.
Not till the end.
Do it now, Shime?
Yeah, just
well,
do
then
it now.
a deal.
I don't want to pay for it. I'm not going to use it again. Like,
Did you see the flight Ken has?
You could get a refund.
Only 6 stops.
But the caller makes a good point. Like, do you think Drake May is going to play 3 games in a row where he's just been so-so, or do you think he finally has a good game?
This is the toughest game he's going to have, not because the Broncos are that much better, but you know better than anybody, at home, on offense, changing plays, figuring it out, getting the call in from Josh. Like, it is as loud in that place as it is in any stadium in the NFL.
And it being the AFC Championship game even adds more pressure to that. So I think the caller asks a great question. Does he have another one of those games, or does he have a game where he doesn't have to be like ridiculous 275 plus yards, but maybe he's 225, he's 70% completion, he's I don't know 18 to 23, and you're kind of like, oh man, 2 touchdowns.
He's kind of been like what's the expression, not for Shine but for the rest of us when it comes to golf, you hit one shot and you play horribly, but then you hit one shot, and that keeps you coming back.
That one brings you back.
He has been, whether it's the throw to Booty or
the throw to Hunter Henry.
Oh,
what a throw!
He makes those plays even when he is mediocre, or however you want to describe it. So you just need more of that.
But that's what
differentiates
differentiates
games.
And that's what what will
games
win
in the
you
playoffs.
again. Yeah.
And so that's why my confidence is where it is. Who makes more of those?
Jared Stidham is not making those, most likely, is what you are suggesting.
But the thing, though, with that is that's what separates Brady, Mahomes from Aaron Rodgers, is that the stats are not as important as the pass in the fourth quarter.
Right.
That gets, the pass Brady threw to Gronk in Super Bowl 53. He had a bad game, but he got a pass.
But that's that's why I lean because it comes down. We've watched so much football. We've been around so much football, playoff football, high pressure situation, and it comes down to one quarterback making the play and the other not. Whether it's the Jimmy Garoppolo who doesn't hit, I forget who was in the end zone against the Kansas City Chiefs
in the Super Bowl.
Isn't that
So
Emmanuel Sanders or something?
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to, and listen, it's the reality of it. If you've never been in that situation and now all of a sudden you're thrust into this situation, I'm going to go with the guy who I've seen slide to his left, going off his back foot and hitting Hunter Henry.
Yeah. All right.